Okay, this is our second video. We're going to add what we made in the previous two lessons onto this video as a 3D element. Okay, so I made a composition out of our second video. Let's call this video 2. Just select video 2 and then hit this button to create a new composition. And I made mine 25 seconds long just in case we need it. And now that we have our video, I'm going to turn off the sound. Don't need that. Essentially, what we want to do is to bring in each element separately instead of final. So we're just going to use final for the background and the stroke. That's all we need. So go in video, and once we bring in final, we should only have the background and the thing. So this is going to be our screen background. We need to do something with it. This is optional. You don't have to put the screen, but it's a fun addition to do. So I'm going to bring it here, and then if you remembered, we're going to hit toggle switches until we see the modes and change this to add. I'm going to move it a little bit here so we don't have to deal with the rotor brush again, but if you want it to be there, you can do what we did in the previous lesson. Okay, so we have this. Let me turn off this layer. We're going to bring in each of these individual ones separately. So let's start with circle, readjust it into the appropriate size over here. Then we need to add the others as well. Readjust each one until it's in the right size. Okay, circle bar graph and go up for the rest. Line graph. Make this small. Pie chart. It comes in the middle, so that's why it wasn't there. Try to get it to be the same size of the circle. Okay. Then we had the text. Okay, so we have all of these. We need to add the glow effect. So go to Window, Effects and Presets, and look for glow. Add glow to each of these layers. Although we can just copy the settings on one. So delete that except for one layer. So we're only going to add it on text. Adjust the threshold. Let's go for 40%. Intensity 40 as well. Sorry, the radius 40. So 40, 40. You can change that. Copy the glow from text. Go in pie chart. Click here. Control V. So everything is going to be the same because it comes from one presentation. Add it to final as well. All right. So everything is glowing now. You can see, looking good. And now we just need to make it as a presentation. I'm going to close this. This is our circle. Yeah, it looks like that. So first thing we want to do is to go back to the original mode. And we're going to make every single layer except final 3D. So this cube guy, turn it on for all except for final and for video. And turn off final for a second. And again, we want to choose the order of which these guys appear. And it changes to add as well. So it's like this and not that dark blue. So this is a 3D layer. And I'm going to come to the point where she brings her hand up. It's around here. I'm going to hit S on this. Hit R on this, and we're just going to change the the Y rotation onto the Y and the Z actually. So it's going to be turn on Y rotation here. Come in like 10 seconds in, we're going to just make this flip around and do its thing. And at the same time, we want it to rotate as well. So try to align the keyframes, turn on the Z rotation, come in here, control left arrow key to move in. You can either add the same number or something else. I'll go with 250 maybe. So something like that. So this would be like a prototype that she's presenting. We kind of squished our thing, our shape. So I'm going to make it bigger. If you hold down Shift and then scale it, it's not going to be squished. Grab all keyframes, F9, and we just have this floating, turning thing. Alright, so this is our loading thing, and we want to show the graph when she brings her hand up. So we're going to grab the two last keyframes for this, bring them in closer. You might not see a preview because it's rendering, but in the end I'll show you what it looks like. Close circle, and I'm going to go in the beginning. I hit U on the circle to show the keyframes. Just cut everything in the beginning, hit T to make it appear. You can either use scale or you could use opacity, whichever transform property that you want. Let's make it 0. So it's not there. Turn on the stopwatch. Be a few seconds in. Then make it let's try, it's not 100, I think 30 was the number. Yeah. So here you actually have the chance to make the shape equal again. So just write 30. F9. And I'm going to bring it in closer. So this is like the loading animation, and then I believe, yeah, around here she brings her hand up. When she brings her hand up, I want like one of the graphs to show. So I have to bring this in here. Hit U to see the other keyframes. Maybe bring them in closer. Alright, so after this, we're going to come in around here right before she moves her hand. Gonna add another scale keyframe, then bring it down to 0. So that was our loading animation. You can cut this short if you need to. Okay. So I'm gonna go back and have a look at the video. She's talking. I'm gonna put the calculating assets here. Then we're gonna bring this here. Somewhere around here. So we're gonna go on text, turn on the visibility. So first it's like calculating assets. All that. I'm going to speed this up a bit. It's a little too slow. Go to time stretch, and we're going to add maybe 50. So I wanted to say all the things it needs to say before the loading animation shows up. You can also go in the layer itself and fix the animation keyframes. I'm just going to do the speeding here. All right. So it says this, and then I want this to perhaps disappear. So hit T on text, 100%, then make it 0. Hit F9 on both of these guys, bring it back a little bit so it fades before the thing shows up, or you could move the loading animation forward. So I'm going to hit N until this part so we can see a preview. Have it load first. So it's saying calculating assets, this dude appears and it disappears, and then we're going to do the rest. So this is when she brings her hand up. It's a perfect time for one of the graphs to come up. I'm going to bring bar graph, align it right when the thing disappears, the loading animation. I'm going to bring it here. This has its own animation. So after it leaves, you can see we did the animations for the up and downs. If you want this to be faster, just go in time stretch, make it faster by half. Alright, so we're going to add a scale to this too, because we don't want it to just appear out of nowhere. It's not looking cool. Hit S, first make it 0, so we have nothing basically, and then we zoom in, turn on the stopwatch, and then make it, I believe it was 40. Yeah, 40. So right when she brings her hand, it's like she's showing the bar graph report. Make this longer so we can see how long this bar graph needs to be until here. Hit S, we can perhaps make it zoom out again. Scale out, I mean. Hit that to 0. So she says the calculating assets, but the loading animation, we have the bar graph. Once it finished, telling the numbers, and it come back and make it disappear right when the numbers are gone. Right click on time. We made it too fast. Let's go for 70, 60. So here there's still numbers, and then it goes down. And this is when we want to make it disappear. Okay, she says the rest of the presentation. I'm gonna cut these so it's not that confusing. Afterwards, she's just smiling, which we can maybe add the line graph or the pie chart actually. We already had a graph. At the pie chart, we're going to make it rotate around itself. So go on the circle. We're going to copy the X and Y rotation for this. Just the Y rotation, not the X. Paste that there, and just remember that in the circle we had two separate things. So if you double click on here, we have the perfect opportunity to create a really nice 3D effect with this. Turn them into 3D, the inner and the outer part. We're going to position the Z a little forward, orientation, maybe do that, flip it to the side on orientation like this. Do the same thing for the one below. Orientation, we want it to be like that, but we want to leave space between them. Position, oops, the X position, move it backwards. So we have something like that. You can see it looks better like this. And you can add I believe the rotation is already there. Yeah, so we have the rotation, we just created this space between them. I will change the orientation a bit to the right, like that. Go back up here, do the same thing for this. 59 degrees, 59 degrees. Now let's go back in the video, in the circle. The pie chart is available everywhere. So we have something like this, and it looks cooler than what we had. Just open it up and remove the X and Y orientation, because we already have them spinning around. See, that looks better. This is the prototype that she was talking about, I guess. Then comes the bar graph, the pie chart, and then finally we have the line graph. Let's cut this up like that. Could actually get rid of the pie chart. Don't need it. The line graph will look good. You need to rotate, flip it. Go to transform, flip horizontal. So it's on this side. And there we are. We just need to hit scale and make it equal. Hit 40. They're all linked. Not sure why it's like that. Just gonna unlink this for a second. Make these positive 40, 40, and 40. Okay, we have something with the orientation. Y rotation, put that to 0. So we have our flat shape, which you could maybe slowly bring it in, hit on that, T. Just adding simple animations on this. You can add anything you prefer. 100. F9. She is showing the graph. And then we're going to end it here. So we have also the background layer, the final layer. Get final. And it would be nice if it has a background. You can see it's making everything stand out more. I'm going to make it bigger. We may have to roto brush her in front. Let's see if all the animations fit. They do. We just need to bring line graph a couple frames down because it's a bit too high. We have to roto brush this person out so it does not interfere with the screen that we have. Okay, so I'm going to roto brush her and then I'll be back so we can continue. If you remembered from the previous lesson, you know how to roto brush a character out. Just duplicate the video, bring it on top of everything, double click, and then you're going to get the roto brush tool. Select her. And it should be pretty easy because we don't have much going on in the background. If it selected everything, just hold down Alt or Option and remove from the area. Okay, so I'm going to do this, let it separate the two, and then I'll be back so we can continue. Alright, so it finished, and then we're going to go in decomposition, and now you can see that the screen is behind her. We didn't include the hand on purpose to create that 3D dimension. So like she reached out her hand and it just went behind the screen. And this just creates a more natural look to our 3D screen. So we added this effect and now it looks a lot better that she's in front. But this is a computer screen and it'll be nice to add maybe a glitch effect on the screen to make it look, well, computer-like. I'm gonna hit P on line graph. I want to move it a bit to the middle. Okay. So what we're going to do is to pre-compose everything except the video. So text, everything, even the final thing, right click, pre-compose. Call this elements. Okay, in elements, just change the blending mode to add. All right. So on elements, we're going to double click to come in it. And we're going to, I added another file in the resource pack. It's called the glitch. Glitch by with easy. I just brought that in and put that above everything. So it's a glitch screen, nothing weird. And then on top of that, we want to bring in an adjustment layer. Go to layer, new adjustment layer. And then we're going to turn off the glitch layer. Go to window, effects and presets, and search for displacement map. Put that on adjustment layer. And then want to match the displacement map layer to glitch by with easy. So now it's going to glitch, you can see. Just in case you can't, might be rendering. See, it's glitching. And without the adjustment layer, it was just flat like this. Alright, so we're going to turn this on. Now we can delete the glitch layer. Sorry, don't delete it. Bring it like below everything. We don't need it. We don't need it to be visible. And here, if you don't want the glitch to be constantly there, you can maybe crop this a bunch of times. Go to adjustment layer, Control-Shift-D. Maybe like make the glitch come in randomly. So it's nothing, it glitches, goes back to normal. Then it glitches again. Control-Shift-D. Nothing happens. Come here, Control-Shift-D. And then I think that's the end. Yeah. So until the very end, it kind of has a on and off glitching effect. Make this a little longer. And now if we go back to video 2, we have a random glitching effect. You can see it glitches, goes back to normal, glitches again. I'm going to play this one more time after it rendered. Not sure if you guys are seeing a preview right now. And do that. Almost there. Okay, so this is the preview. Normal, it glitches, goes back to normal, glitches again, normal, glitches, and yeah. So it glitches like a computer would, just a fun element that you can add. You can totally skip this if you don't want it. Alright, so we added this, and now I'm just going to go on light. You can add a light sweep to it as well if you want. Go to CC light sweep, go to apply it on elements. Get the color to be something similar to this. Hit OK. You can choose the angle, make the center come in from whichever angle, whichever side you want it to come from. I'm going to go from up here. And you can make it smooth. Okay, you can feather the edges. I'm going to first make it come down. Turn on the center. And then come here to the end where you would just drag this guy over like this. So essentially it has this happening, and this goes over the glitch. Stop halfway so you can see the edge. You can make the width bigger or smaller. The sweep intensity, you can make it a little less vibrant, which is what I want. Edge intensity, you can soften it out or leave it to be hard. I'm gonna remove it. Edge thickness, can add or remove as well. Okay, I will hit U on my elements, get the keyframes, F9, and I want this to only happen in the beginning. Play that back, we get that, like so. Just making it as computer-like as possible. There we are. Gonna have a look and see what else we can do. We can also darken the video in general. Just make an adjustment layer on top of everything. Just so that the thing stands out, the neon colors. Search for Lumetri color, put it on your adjustment layer. Basic correction, just bring down the exposure, maybe negative 0.5. Okay. Increase the highlights a bit. Remove from the shadows. You can also add some vignetting if you want. Not a fan of that. So now it looks more visible. This is before, this is after. You can see that these guys stand out a lot better than they were before. All right. So we added this. I do want to add another final element. This is again optional. All right, I went ahead and brought in another video, volumetric light. It's on your resource pack. So we can have like a light showing this hologram because it can't just appear out of nowhere. Bring that below elements. And as you can see, it's a regular video. We're just going to expand it a little. We need to flip it as well. Right click, transform, flip vertical. So it comes from below. And just look at the, match the bottom here. And look so that it is in the right area. This is good for me. Again, toggle switches, come to where you can see the mode. Change this to screen. So we have the light only. And this is a moving light. You can see it's like that, but I don't know if you guys can see there's like the end of the video is there. We need to make it fade out as it reaches towards the hologram. Go in effects and presets, look for radial blur, CC radial blur, add it onto volume video. Get the center and place it here above the video. Then turn this from scratch to fading zoom and just add to the amount. You can see we blurred out the edges. Just make it in a way that it's only the tip. I'm going to put it here a bit closer so I could simply add that. All right, so now we're not getting that rough line. All right, we just get the light and that's it. And then the light is white, which is not suitable for this cyan blue. So go again in the effects and presets, look for Lumetri color, add that on top of the video, bring it on top of radial blur, go to color wheels, and I'm going to go in highlights and just bring the highlights to, well, the blue down here. Okay. And you can see this looks better compared to what it was. All right. So this is before, this is after. You can see it's a little bit blue. You come down here. Can add or remove from the intensity. Can make it more cyan. So this is before the Lumetri color. It was white. This is after, it's blue like this. And yeah, so instead of just the thing appearing out of nowhere, we now have this, the light showing up. And it's like there's maybe a projector down here showing these reports. All right, I'm going to turn off the audio as well. we could kind of squeeze it in if it's not to your liking. I'm happy with it. I'll leave it be. It fits. And now we have a nice hologram looking thing. Hologram presentation, I guess. I'm gonna let it play again. Just in case you guys aren't getting a preview. Here we are. She's giving the presentation. The thing is glitching. We have the lights from below. All of that together. Alright, and we could also make it appear so it's not suddenly there. You can see the video just starts, but we can do something else with this. Select all the layers except for select the elements and the volume layer. We also turned the adjustment layer off. Select these two. Again, we have to pre-compose. Call this hologram. So in the hologram layer, again, change this to screen. So we get everything. We are going to turn off the audio first. We're going to get a mask. Get the pen tool. Select that so you're making a mask. And just create a straight line like that. Delete one of the points down here so we have a triangle. Come to where you want it to appear. I think this was the center. Adjust the thing. We want a straight line in the beginning so we don't see anything at all. Okay. Open up hologram, mask, mask 1. Go to mask path. Turn on the stopwatch. Come in a few seconds. We want it to appear in a hologram way. So may have to zoom in here. Hit edge and just go up here. Try to find my second point. Get your pen tool again. Click some random spots. And there we are. All right. So now we're going to expose this in like this manner. And we're still on the same keyframe, so don't worry about that. Going to do that. Though we should have started with a rectangle. So we're going to delete that. And just bring this guy really down. Expand it. This guy too. Something like that. Alright. Then we're a few frames forward. Turn on the stopwatch. Go in the beginning and just close this. Click anywhere random. Just bring the line like that. So we have a straight line without the hologram in sight. Zoom in to make sure we're not getting any sneak peeks. And essentially we have this. So the hologram appears. Hit F9 on both. And to hide this, let me click away. You can see there's like a line. You can just hit T on this. 0 opacity. Control right arrow key for single frame. And then make it 100. Control left arrow key. I forgot to put the stopwatch. Put it 0. Turn on the stopwatch. Control right arrow key. Or command right arrow key. F9. So it essentially appears like that. Alright, and now it would be more suitable so that the hologram is being projected from another device. Let's play this back. And we also definitely need to feather out the edges. Hit M on hologram. Hit M twice. And just feather the edges from the beginning so you can see the difference. And just feather out the edges because it's a hologram. So now it just looks more hologram-like. And we have this person giving a nice presentation. All right, so let's have a look at our creation. Let it render. Then you guys can see what we made. So as you saw, this is how we make HUD animations. You could use this to show your application, or just for something sci-fi like this. You can make yourself into a superhero, make your car look really futuristic by putting these into the little screen that's available in the cars. But I will give you one tip. If you're trying to film this yourself, make sure that in the car or any device that you have, there is a solid color. We talked about this in the green screen lesson. Green is the best color for this, but you want to make sure that you don't have similar colors around. So if it's a white car, if you put that vibrant green in the middle, it's really easy to just take out the green, replace it with your HUD animation. But even if you don't have that and you're just practicing using videos you found online, you saw that we were able to replace the screen by adding a corner pin effect and using the rotor brush to separate the main subject and place them in front to give it a more natural look. Alright, so this is it for this lesson. This concludes our HUD animation lessons. And now that we know this, we can move on to the next lesson. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys in the next lesson.